360 documentaries.
You're with 360 Documentaries here on RN Summer. I'm Kirsty Melville, and I'm wondering if you've ever seen the movie Inception. It's the one where Leonardo DiCaprio and Ellen Page break into other people's dreams and control them.
Now this is where I need you. You create the world of the dream. We bring the subject into that dream, and they fill it with their subconscious.
How could I ever acquire enough detail to make them think that it's reality?
Well, dreams, they feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something was actually strange.
Only when we wake up that we realise something was actually strange. That's true for most people, but maybe this has happened to you. You're in the middle of a dream and suddenly you say to yourself, hang on, this isn't real. I'm asleep. And this weird place I'm in, these people I'm with, they're not real either. It's called lucid dreaming. Some people can train themselves to do it, and sort of like in the movie, some of them can even learn to control their dreams. They can cast and direct them as if they were making their own movies. Producer Neva Grant set out to meet some of these dream directors, and here she is with the Lucid Dreamers.
One of the first things lucid dreamers tell you is that it's a blast.
If you can imagine just running as fast as you can and then thinking you can't go any faster, and then you do go faster and you're in the air and you feel everything. You feel the wind rushing, you feel that feeling in your gut.
It is fun, yeah, because it's so incredibly vivid and there's so much light and detail and you just feel on a high.
Yeah, it's euphoric. It's a happy experience. It's because you're flying, you know, who doesn't want to fly?
So there comes this freedom, this exhilaration, so you can walk through walls, you can levitate things with just your mind.
I acted out on sexual desires.
You may be having sex with dream characters, that's a very popular thing in the beginning.
So I suppose it's just exercising whatever you want to happen in an environment where there are no rules.
Another way to think of lucid dreaming? Think of the sleeping brain suddenly catching a glimpse of itself in the mirror. What are you doing, it asks. What are you thinking? Oh, you're dreaming. Snap out of it. No, wait. Stay in it.
So my first lucid dream was on the 6th of August 2011. And
lucid dreamers remember their first lucid dream the way you remember your first kiss. Here are two stories from Novan and Bianca.
I'm with my TAFE class in a spacious white mansion. We're here for some excursion, but it feels like we'll be staying for a couple of days. I walk into an outdoor area when the older people are standing. Suddenly people, and it's the young people versus the old people, start insulting each other and fighting each other. There's a dispute between Sue and Amy. I join in and say, well, I'd rather look like Amy than look like Sue. And then I think,
I'm swimming in an ocean and I will for a ship to appear. And I think, wow, fascinating, this works. There's a ship there. So I board the ship by climbing onto it. It's almost like a pirate ship with 2 masts, sails, a wooden deck. So I create a plank and I say, the plank is there now, maybe I should jump off it. But as I jumped, I'm euphoric and I'm so excited that I wake myself up.
I say, well, I'd rather look like Amy than look like Sue. And then I think, oh, I realized what I said. Then I think it doesn't matter what we say because it's only a dream. Then I realize I'm dreaming. I start jumping up the stairs and I can jump as high as I want. And I keep repeating as loud as I can, I'm having a lucid dream.
It's almost a feeling, like if you were to walk out of an air-conditioned room into a warmer room.
I'm dreaming.
It's that obvious.
I'm having a lucid dream.
Wake up, darling. Wake up, darling. Wake up, darling.
How to lucid dream. A lucid dream is one in which you become aware that you're dreaming, but you don't wake up. Although some people naturally have the ability to lucid dream, most have to learn and develop the technique.
And we're about to hear from people who are doing exactly that, learning and developing their technique.
Here's how to do it.
And they have a lot of places to get advice.
Hiya, doing a video today on lucid dreaming for beginners. So right, the most basic thing, and it might seem obvious to people, but it is vital. Dream journal. You have to keep a dream journal.
For some reason, when I'm lucid dreaming, I am the architect. I have this fascination with building castles, and I've found that recently I've created entire villages.
So George Clooney is about to kiss you, and you feel like you're starting to wake up? Pretend to spin around in circles. This keeps the dream going 96% of the time.
I know. You skeptics are already wondering, is this for real? I can't offer any wisdom on the George Clooney thing, but many brain experts do take lucid dreaming seriously. They study it in labs, they write papers about it, and they think they may know what's going on in your brain when you lucid dream.
For many people, it's a very fragile state, at least initially. It's almost like a soap bubble. It's like it's so tenuous that you're aware and yet you're dreaming.
Kelly Bulkeley is an American scholar, and he's written books about dreaming.
In most dreams, we seem to take it for what it is. And in a lucid dream, the part of the brain that enables us to think, here I am. I'm thinking about myself, what researchers call an executive capacity to sort of reflect on ourselves. That part of the brain comes back online, and we're able to realize, hey, I'm dreaming.
Step 1, prepare. The first step is to improve your ability to remember dreams and just generally make yourself more aware of your dreams. Start by telling yourself each night before you go to bed that you will have lucid dreams and that you will remember them in the morning.
I will have lucid dreams and I will remember them in the morning. I will have lucid dreams and I will remember them in the morning. I will have lucid dreams and I will remember them in the morning.
Personally, I am not a skeptic. I have had a few lucid dreams, but it was when I was younger. And I can tell you, it's like trying to catch a minnow in your bare hands, slippery and mysterious. That's true for a lot of beginners. I wanted to get better at it. So naturally, I joined a group.
Thank you very much for turning up on such a beautiful day. The topic for today's meetup is how can we use lucid dreams for healing, for problem solving and for inner guidance.
A lucid and conscious dreaming group in Sydney. There are meetups like this all over the world, by the way.
Yeah, I personally use quite a lot a technique that is called the dream incubation. Have people heard about it? It's basically a very ancient technique that was used by ancient Egyptians.
And all kinds of people show up. Students and businessmen, old-timers, new agers. They all make me jealous.
The gearbox had got completely out of order and I was having a hell of a time trying to reassemble it. I went to bed. I had a lucid dream, a very lucid dream. The whole gearbox appeared in 3 dimensions and it all moved, all the parts moved in all directions, and finally they all came together. I instantly woke up at about 3 in the morning, drew the diagram, went back to bed, woke up in the morning, put the gearbox together.
Oh, amazing.
So that was true. Yeah.
Maybe you too have stumbled upon brilliant ideas in your dreams, bursts of creativity. So have many other great minds. Paul McCartney and René Descartes, Salvador Dali, Graham Greene, Gandhi, dozens more. But the difference with lucid dreams is you can plan in advance. You can incubate a dream, pose a problem, summon up a solution, a moment of clarity from your subconscious.
When I become lucid in a dream, if I need a particular answer or if I need some guidance, I could just scream. Well, you don't have to scream really, but what you have to do is just ask it out loud, whatever question you want to ask, and just wait what happens.
That's Natalia, the leader of the Sydney Dreaming Group. She grew up in Latvia, but after university, she yearned to move elsewhere, maybe Australia. She wasn't sure. So she posed the question in a dream.
I come to the shore and everything is really beautiful. It does feel like I'm, in heaven, if you will, because basically I can see 3 figures approaching me. They're wearing all the long white clothes, and they come to me with a set of clothes and saying, welcome, we've got these new clothes, they're ready for you. And then I come to the lighthouse. And in that moment, I hear a voice that's saying that you have to come to Australia. this is where you have to be. And then I wake up. And then a year and a half later, when I arrived to Australia and I went to the lighthouse in Watson's Bay, it just clicked. There was exactly that scene that I saw in my dream. And I remember the voice that told me that you have to come to Australia. This is where you are supposed to be.
I want to get the transition.
I used to play in a band in high school, and I took that quite seriously while I was in it. I was a bass player. And it wasn't in the sense that I incubated a dream and wanted to solve something creatively, but when we'd have a bit of dry spells, because it's in your mind when you sleep, it's almost as if it takes the reins and wants to solve the problem for you.
Here's another story of inspiration tugging at you hard in the middle of the night. This is Neva, a student in Sydney and a member of the dreaming group.
So I was lucid in this particular dream where I would just pick up a guitar that wasn't mine. That was this extraordinary guitar that I thought, you can't buy this. This had to have come from somewhere so strange. It was alien almost, and I realized, okay, I'm dreaming. It was a metallic blue, but it almost as if it held no shape. And although it wasn't plugged into anything, it was just able to make the most fascinating sound. It felt almost as if it didn't come from me. It felt like it was playing itself. So when I woke up, I realized that I could really use this to help myself, to help my playing. So meeting with my band members, I didn't tell them about the dream. It's not something I talk to many people about. But you throw ideas out there, you say, hey, I've been thinking, maybe we can add this sort of sound, you know, add echo or add delay. And they say, yeah, that's a really good idea. And you sort of play with it and add little fragments of the sound that you dreamed of.
Wouldn't it be sweet to have a dream like that? Actually, the dream I'm trying to have is more like Natalia's. Those friendly guys in the flowing robes telling her Australia is where she belongs. See, I'm a stranger here myself, an American in Oz. Do I belong here? How long should I stay? No luck with that dream so far. It's all a work in progress.
Step 2. Controlling your dreams. Many people report that they can not only control their own actions in a dream, but control other characters in the dream as well. It's also possible to take control of scary dreams and nightmares and turn them into something much more pleasant.
I'm walking down a street, and originally I'm nervous because there's all the faces going past me, and I'm staring at their faces, but I think they can tell that I'm staring at them.
Like me, Bianca is a beginner at lucid dreaming. She's 19. She says sometimes she feels shy in public, unsure of herself. A lucid dream can give her a burst of confidence.
They all seem a bit standoffish, like why is she staring at me, and a bit paranoid themselves. And then I realize that I'm the one that has control, and I smile and a woman will smile. Or I get a bit angry and someone gets a bit angry as well, so I have a bit more control than I think, and I'm actually able to change their facial expressions, which gives me a huge sense of power. I mean, it doesn't feel like you're creating these people, it feels like these people are already created and you're altering them, or you have power over them.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Every time I have a lucid dream, it's very fleeting, so I wake up and I'm very upset that I wake up.
You've been dreaming!
Sometimes the realization that you're in a dream world can be such a shock that you suddenly wake up.
It's like you just lost the lottery by one number. I just want to return more than anything in the world.
Wake up!
Am I dreaming? Oh, no. Damn it, I'm still awake. You know, I would just appreciate one little lucid dream. I would like some wise men to just show up and tell me what I should do with the rest of my life.
Step 3. Knowing that you're dreaming. You can train yourself to look out for signs that you're dreaming.
Train myself?
These are things which would be impossible in real life, such as being able to breathe underwater or fly.
Fly.
This can be done in the form of actions like pinching yourself or looking at your hands, or simply asking the question, am I awake?
Am I awake?
Am I awake?
Am I awake?
Am I
Am I awake? Am I awake? Am I awake? Am I awake? Am I awake?
I had that dream of being chased again. It was a recurring dream for me for some time.
Yeah, I've been here before. Haven't you?
I was being chased through the doors, multiple doors, and there's no escape. You kind of go from one room to the other, to the other, to the other by like a gang or mafia or something. Guys, basically, with guns. They were very aggressive, they were very brutal, and they wanted to kill me. That's all I knew.
No, actually, Natalia knew one more thing. She knew how to deal with these guys.
So I remember when I started practice lucidity, I willed myself to become conscious in the dream. I felt a lot of fear still, but I just turned around and I let this guy approach me. And basically what I did is I embraced them. I hugged them. It was quite horrible to do that because I was very, very scared. But since I did that, basically the figure disappeared. The dream stopped. It never came back.
For someone who might be very overwhelmed by terrible nightmares or post-traumatic stress disorder, it might be incredibly useful for them to be able to actually say, I knew I was dreaming.
Judith Pickering is a psychoanalyst in Sydney. She uses dreams a lot in her practice.
There's something about being able to face something and knowing that you're facing something that you have already experienced, but you're not experiencing it now. It's a trauma that you've already been through and come out the other side of, and that you are safe when you're dreaming.
I asked Dr. Pickering about Natalia's dream, about being attacked by bad guys. Oh, a lot of my patients get that one, she says. In fact, I've had that dream too.
I turned around and suddenly looked at the person coming in and said to myself, is that really a burglar or something that I'm frightened of having infiltrate my house, as in my psyche? Is this a symbolic intrusion of something frightening and confronting that actually might be helpful to me and is part of me, a part of me that I'm scared of because it feels like it's very strange and enigmatic? And so having even had that thought in the dream, suddenly I was able to welcome the burglar in, and the burglar was like almost like a lover figure at that point, something I could embrace.
There it is again, a late-night tryst with a nightmare. How tempting, how healing to be able to embrace our fears, love them even. But Pickering says a really skilled lucid dreamer could get carried away, could use her dreams to hide from the truth.
For example, the truth that the person that they really fancy is not interested in them or isn't even a very nice person. And maybe the dream would reveal that that person's just not interested in them. They don't want to face that truth in waking life, and they don't want to face that truth in sleeping life. So let's do a lucid dream and let's make that person love me and really want to marry me and be my knight in shining armour. So I'm going to have the wish fulfillment of what I want occur in my dream. As a therapist, what do you make of that? Is that not healthy? Yes, if it gets in the way of you actually being able to face a painful fact that's going to enable you to move on.
But now, there are plenty of people who are happy with their dreams as they are, non-lucid dreams, random and unruly, but revealing in their own way. So why try to control them?
I don't totally like the word control. I feel like that's just, your ego loves security and control. It loves to control things. But really, there's none necessarily a need for control.
That's Thomas Peisel, a lucid dreamer in New York City. And he says you don't always have to choreograph your dreams. Sometimes it's enough just to know you're dreaming, to wander and explore, maybe start a conversation.
That's one of the greatest things now for me is speaking to these other dream characters who, are autonomous and independent as you are. And it's interesting, some of these characters walk around and they seem almost in their own little sleepwalking trance. Some of them, you talk to them, you ask them a simple question like, who are you, what are you doing? And sometimes you just get gibberish. It's as if they are dreaming and they're kind of in their own little world. They don't realize what's going on or anything. But then there's all these other characters who seem to be just as conscious as you are. They realize their place in the dream. They actually can sometimes be guides and help you understand how things work there.
And now here's something that makes a wannabe dreamer really jealous. Thomas thinks he can rendezvous in his dreams with real people, other lucid dreamers who are dreaming at the same time. Think of dreams as a separate space, he says, a space we all travel to. Why shouldn't some of us be able to book the same flight?
So I'm writing this book called Oneronautics, subtitle A Field Guide to Lucid Dreaming. And the two people I'm co-authoring the book with set out to kind of, do some experiments with this. Can we get lucid in a dream and meet each other? So we were actually in a cottage doing some rewrites on the book, and right before we were about to go to bed, we talked to each other and said, okay, if we see each other, use that as a trigger to realize that you're dreaming. And as I'm going to sleep, I'm telling myself, I'm dreaming. Before I know it, I'm standing in front of Dylan and Jared, and that's my trigger. And instantly I get lucid. I grab both of their hands, and I run towards this big glass window, like a stained glass window you would see in like a church, but it was huge. And I'm running towards this big window, and I just jump right through it and shatter all this glass, and we actually land outside in this yard. And I turn to Dylan and I say, do you see how absurd this is? We're dreaming right now. And he kind of looked up and he kind of had a glimmer that he understood what I meant. And I said, Dylan, if I flew right now, would this prove to you that we're dreaming? And he said something like, sure. So I did, and I flew, and somehow I ended up falling into some water, and that instantly woke me up. So I wake up, and we're back in the cottage, and Dylan and Jared both wake up as well. And we share our experiences, and I tell them about this big glass window that I jumped through. And instantly, Dylan is just, he's excited to the point where he's like, no way. And he tells me his dream. Dylan's dream wasn't a lucid dream, but in his dream, I had broken this big window. And he just remembers there was this glass everywhere, and it was an anxious dream for him because he was worried about how we were going to pay for it and that we would get in trouble for breaking this window. My other writer had kind of an odd dream about his grandmother riding a motorcycle, and apparently she crashed her motorcycle in this dream, and it wasn't a lucid dream either. But he just remembers standing on all this broken glass, standing on the middle of a highway. I mean, the fact that we all dreamed about glass shattering and broken glass could have absolutely been a coincidence of some sort. But my question is, if we were all lucid, can we have shared dreams? Can we get people to get lucid and somehow exchange some information that we could bring back to the waking world?
963, 962, 961. Close your eyes. I think tonight I'm going to dream that I'm jumping through a picture window with George Clooney, or I'm going to embrace a demon, or I'm just going to learn if I should move back to the States. All this obsessing about dreams in the middle of the night can make a person feel very lonely. But you know what? We are not alone.
In every single traditional culture, people paid attention to their dreams. Think about Aboriginal culture. Think about Buddhist culture now. Think about Tibetan culture now.
We came across all these ancient beliefs about dreams and how our ancestors viewed dreaming. They all believe that some part of you, whether they called it the soul or, the Egyptians called it the Ba, the Chinese called it the Hun, some sort of essence of you, some consciousness left your body when you physically slept and went to a shared objective place.
Lucid dreaming is a modern term for a whole series of ancient practices and experiences.
Dream scholar Kelly Boakley has written a book about how people relied on their dreams in early civilizations, like the ancient Greeks.
For many, many centuries before the birth of Christ and for many centuries after, The Greek healing god Asclepius was the object of tremendous worship throughout the Mediterranean world. And there were shrines and temples devoted to the healing god, just glorious places where people would go who were seeking a healing dream from the god Asclepius. And people would practice what we refer to today as dream incubation. They would bathe, they would pray. People who were healed wrote testimonials on the walls of the temples. Did they ever say, I was aware that I was dreaming? I mean, they didn't use that language or necessarily think in those terms. But the dreams that were generated were hyper intense and deeply impactful on people. And they kind of turbocharged their dreaming in a direction that we often describe as lucid.
Okay, so everyone is going to work with themselves, kind of try to forget about everyone else and just concentrate on yourself. If it helps you to close your eyes, do that. Just do whatever feels natural and whatever feels right.
Here we are again, kind of modern-day Asclepius, a sunny patch of grass in Sydney with a lucid dreaming meetup group. Just as in ancient times, people are learning how to incubate their dreams.
Just pick something that at the moment represents kind of an issue that you would like to work with. Okay, it could be again a physical symptom, a relationship issue. It could be a particular block that you're experiencing. It could be a spiritual issue.
So by day, I attend these meetups, and at night, I say my little incantations.
I'm going to have a lucid dream, and I'm going to remember it in the morning.
And I can tell you, I am getting nowhere. I have not had a lucid dream in months. No flying, no sudden burst of insight, no men in flowing robes telling me where I belong. And here's a cruel twist. Everyone I know, friends, colleagues, family members, they are having lucid dreams. And they're telling me about them.
I'm dreaming.
A lucid dream.
I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming. Oh my God, I'm dreaming.
Having a lucid dream. Oh, wow. It's a dream.
Wake up, darling. Wake up, darling. Wake up, darling.
Don't worry if you can't induce a lucid dream on your first attempts. With patience and regular practice, most people can develop the ability to have the lucid dream experience.
I'm not worried, honest. I'm happy for the rest of you. Enjoy yourselves out there. Maybe one night I'll see you in your dreams, soaring above the ocean, kissing someone famous, hugging someone dangerous. Savor the moment and wave to me, won't you?
The Lucid Dreamers was produced and written by Neva Grant, with technical production by Stephen Tilley. The associate producer was Natalie Kesticher. Neva spoke with Lucid Dreamers Thomas Peisel, Natalia Zimirevska, Bianca Abrahams and Novan Sokrudi. We also heard from Dr. Judith Pickering, a psychoanalyst in Sydney, and Dr. Kelly Bulkeley, author of Dreaming in the World's Religions. Thanks to members of the Guild Theatre for their voice work and to the company Video Jug for use of the video How to Lucid Dream. You can watch it at www.videojug.com. Happy lucid dreaming.